September 18th, 1998. The year 2000. And now... dangerous enemy mankind has ever encountered.
We lost contact with Rogan. We can't wait any longer.
I promised Mom that I'd bring him home.
House of the Dead 3 is the latest installment in Sega's House of the Dead series. It actually marks the first installment of the series to actually appear on non-Sega hardware. Developer Entertainment has actually made the game for Microsoft's Xbox, and it will actually still appear in arcades on a Microsoft Xbox compatible arcade board called Chirashi. The game picks up 20 years after the last installment, House of the Dead 2, and follows the daughter of one of the agents that were seen in House of the Dead 2 as she goes off in search of her father. You know, while the story may be different, the gameplay is pretty much the same. One of the hallmarks of the series has always been, you know, really fast gameplay with detailed graphics that deform sort of in creative ways as you shoot things. And so you're going to find a wide array of zombies to shoot, and you will be able to blow off chunks of them and see through some of the bigger ones and do all kinds of sort of weird things. The main difference to the gameplay is that you're now using a shotgun as opposed to a pistol, which had been like the preferred weapon in the earlier games. In addition to the change in weapons, you're also going to find some tweaks to the gameplay as well. The gun now auto-reloads, so there's no real need to aim off the screen. And you won't find as many civilians in the game to save. The whole point of the civilians in the earlier games was to actually reward you with health bonuses or whatever if you manage to save them. That's been changed a bit. In House of the Dead 3, you're going to earn your health bonuses by actually saving your partner from being attacked by zombies. Basically, as you go through the game, you'll come across instances where you or the person that you're playing with, or the second character if you're not playing with anybody, are going to be attacked by zombies. If you manage to shoot them all off them before they're harmed, you'll get a health bonus. You're also going to find sort of a different way for the game to unfold. Whereas the first two games were pretty linear, you might have branching paths in a couple places, but for the most part, it was pretty straightforward. In House of the Dead 3, you're actually going to have a choice as to which route you take through a level. In some stages, you'll actually be able to choose the order in which you tackle the different areas. So it does actually provide for sort of a different experience every time you play through. It just kind of depends on the choices that you make, which is kind of cool. Now, obviously, one of the big questions on people's mind when they think about this game is definitely going to be, how are you going to play it? Because previous light gun games that have appeared on any console have always given you the option of using a controller, but, you know, that's not the ideal situation. Well, as it happens, House of the Dead 3 actually does control pretty well with the standard Xbox pad. WoW's gone ahead and let you mount the buttons to any configuration you'd like. So it's a lot more user-friendly, I think, than most console light gun games. Now, while that controller works fine, we're actually pretty curious to see if we could get our hands on a light gun, and we did. We got a hold of the Mad Catz Blaster, which is, you know, their light gun for the Xbox that they'll be releasing around the same time that the game hits stores. It actually works out pretty well. The gun has auto reload, auto fire, like pretty much the typical stuff Mad Catz has been putting in their guns for a while, which is cool. It's got a little slot here for your memory unit, which also happens to look like you're loading it with ammunition, so that's cool. But probably our favorite feature of the gun is the fact that it has vibration in it. So there's actually quite a bit of kick when you're shooting the gun, which really kind of helps you get into the game, which is cool because we were kind of worried about the home version not really having a hook because we had a chance to play the arcade version of the game, and we're pretty taken with the pump-action shotgun that the cabinet had attached to it because you're able to cock it by hand while you're going through the game. That was really cool. And we were sort of worried that the home version would kind of like miss that tactile experience, but the light gun having some kick actually helps. And in terms of its graphics, House of the Dead 3 looks really, really good. It's easily the best looking entry in the series. WoW's pretty much pulled out all the stops, and you've got a really sick assortment of zombies and very detailed environments with just like a real cohesive kind of disturbing theme because things are very post-apocalyptic and very sort of messed up, and the game's suitably disturbing in that respect. There's also some really cool things done with lighting in the game. There's going to be stretches where you're going through an area and the only thing you really have to light your way is sort of like a flashlight that's strapped to your gun. And so you've got like this small area that you can illuminate and go through and kill zombies. So, you know, it all works. You've got an option to adjust the level of violence to all the way up to gratuitous, which, well, you know, you really can't play this game and punk out. And you'll also be able to change the blood color from green to red as suits your taste.
These things are getting on my nerves.
So the game's visual punch is pretty impressive. It moves well and it looks really good on an Xbox. The sound is right up there. The game actually has Dolby 5.1 support. So it really adds a lot to the experience when you're going through tearing through areas with zombies screaming everywhere, and you can kind of hear them because we're lucky enough to have a 5.1 setup in our lab, so we're able to really get a feel for it. It's really cool. Now, in addition to the main House of the Dead 3 game, there's actually a couple extra things tucked away just to give it some added value. You'll find a featurette that sort of gives you a look at the upcoming House of the Dead movie that is due out in spring of next year, 2003. And if you can actually go through and finish the game in one sitting, you'll unlock House of the Dead 2, which WoW has actually put in the entire game of House of the Dead 2. So there's plenty of replay value to be found in it. From what we've played so far, House of the Dead 3 is shaping up pretty well. The game's, you know, it's got quite a bit to discover and to play through, which is cool. It's definitely very fun as a two-player game. And really, I think that's kind of where it shines. There's a few odds and ends maybe we'd like to see tightened up a little bit in the final release, like, you know, the speed of the shotgun reloading. But other than that, it's a really solid game, and it's definitely something that the Xbox doesn't have right now, and it's a really good addition to the library.
Lisa, keep running!
You've got to believe in yourself. Oh, terrible. I'm not gonna stop until I find my dad.
Fly under it! Rogan, where are you? It's a maze over here.
Gee, over there.
Let's do this quickly. What a